Thank you very much for inviting me to the Korean Maritime Week to address the international efforts and directions for biofouling management. My name is Svein Åstvold. I'm a specialist director in the Norwegian Ministry of Climate and Environment. What you see here is what is called in English sea vomit. It is photographed in a port in Norway, but it's not a native species in Norway. It's originally from Asia, but it is unfortunately now introduced in our ports due to spreading caused by ships. The introduction and establishment of invasive species is considered to be one of the greatest threats to the world's freshwater, coastal and marine ecosystem. The main vectors of unintentional transfer of non-indigenous species are ships' ballast water, biofouling of mobile marine structures, and aquaculture. The International Maritime Organization is responsible for regulating shipping, has acted on the issue of spreading of alien species in marine ecosystem. We all know that the Ballast Water Management Convention was established many years ago and is now well in operation. But also the issue of invasive aquatic species through ships biofouling has been addressed by the IMO. First, it was brought to the IMO's attention in 2006, leading to the development of the guidelines for the control and management of ships biofouling adopted by the Marine Environment Protection Committee in 2011, which was also supplemented by the guidance for minimizing the transfer of invasive aquatic species as biofouling for recreational crafts, which was approved at the MEPC 64 in October 2012. Now, in 2018, MEPC 72 decided to review the guidelines in order to assess the uptake and effectiveness and identify any required action. Further, in 2019, we established the GLOW Fouling project at the IMO, which is intended to assist developing countries in their actions on biofouling. So IMO has a quite busy agenda on addressing this topic. Now, the revision of the biofouling guidelines is being undertaken at present by a correspondence group under the PPR subcommittee. And I have the privilege to coordinate that correspondence group. We will report our ongoing work to the next session of the PPR subcommittee, which will be taking place next spring. And the work is well underway. So what I will report now is some snapshots on what we have been doing and the status of the work. And we have the task to complete everything on this by 2023. And I clearly have the view that we will manage to do so. So what is the main task? Yes, we will address what kind of actions which will ensure that the guidelines will have effective uptake, and also that we will enhance the effectiveness of the guidelines. Meaning we need to make them clearer and less general, and also include user-specific guidance and allocate responsibilities of the various stakeholders clearly. Now, we will need to address the chronological sequence from ship design to the end of the service lives of the ship. So this is a quite extensive issue, and we are looking into all aspects of the biofouling management procedure. To give you some indication on, let's say, the approach we are taking, And this is an illustration which we have captured in the guidelines, meaning we address the ship in relation to prevention of biofouling from the design and construction, and then all through the life of the ship. And then we have, when the ship is in operation, the 5-year dry docking sequence. But I will explain this cycle also to show you how the content of the guidelines are now being developed. So, okay, this is quite much text, but it is helpful in order to explain the approach to be, which we are now taking in the guidelines. Now, it will be recommendations also when it comes to the design and construction of ship, meaning that the design and meaning all areas of the hull must be accessible for inspection, and that there are no specific design elements which is preventing biofouling management. So there are clear guidance on such issues. Further, we have guidance on the installation of anti-fouling system and marine growth prevention systems, and also guidance on proactive cleaning. So then the ship will come into operation, and then it will enter into a circle where we then will have an approach where we will undertake inspection on biofouling based on a risk assessment procedure, and then there is also identification of cleaning procedures within these guidelines. I will go into a little bit more explanation on these various elements. Now, the issue of inspection is based on a risk assessment, meaning that we need to undertake a risk assessment where there is a possibility for high growth or low growth when it comes to biofouling, and then that will then define the inspection intervals. So that would be recommendations in the guidelines. And then we will also include a rating of when it comes to biofouling, meaning then if you have then various degrees of biofouling, there will then be various types of action. When it comes to proactive cleaning, that can also be undertaken before you have the fouling taking place. And proactive cleaning is a system which is ensuring that fouling will not be taking place on the ship. And there are various technologies and systems available for that. When it comes to the cleaning as such, we have then defined requirements or recommendation, I would say, for in-water cleaning procedures. And when we have the in-water cleaning, it is of utmost importance that we also define what the degree of collection of fouled material. So there it will be clear recommendations that in order to undertake the cleaning in water, you need to collect the fouled material to be taken on land. And then when you do that on land, of course, you need also to ensure that the local environment is not in danger. So there will be a proper handle of the fouled material which will be taken on land. So that will be addressed in the guidelines. Further, the ship, of course, needs to have a biofouling management plan and also undertake recording of the actions which the ship will take, recordings of the outcome of the inspection, and then also recordings of the consequent actions to be taken. Further, the guidelines will also contain materials on training and education of ship's master and ship's crew. This is a very important element of the guidelines. There are then various appendixes which contains technical material which is supporting the content of the recommendation in the guidelines. So in brief, that is the overview, and it's a quite comprehensive document. I encourage all of you to look into our work and take part and contribute. But clearly the intent is to improve the existing guidelines and make them more clear and fit for purpose. Now, this is an illustration, and actually it is a real picture of a cleaning system. You can here see a remotely operated cleaning system, and also you can see the hose pipe, which is collecting the cleaned fouled material. And here you can see at the left, bottom left of this slide, you can see the remotely operated cleaning system on the ship. And you can see then the pipe, which is then collecting the fouled materials, including, of course, then a water stream, which is then going up until land. And you can see up until the right that this is a system which can then be taken in the port and moved from place to place and from ship to ship. So this is one of the system which is available on the market. Then I will present one other element of the international activity which is undertaken at the IMO, and that is the Glow Fouling Partnership, which is a project which is there to assist developing countries. And that is an IMO project in collaboration with the UNDP, and mainly it is funded by the Global Environment Facility. Also, the Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO and the World Ocean Council are executing partners for industry is taking part. And this is a 5-year project which was started in 2019 and will at least run until 2023, and has then, as I said, Jeff, funding. And the purpose of the project is then to ensure that also developing countries can apply the IMO biofouling management guidelines. Now, the existing guidelines is of course the basis for this project, and it is beneficial to implement these guidelines. But of course, when we have the revised guidelines in place, that will be the basis for all work of the IMO and also IMO member states. So the project is taking place in 6 regions, which is of course in relation to the biofouling problem, an invasive species problem, beneficial, because then we ensure that the various important regions in the world are taking part in the project. So we have 6 regions, and then altogether 12 lead partnering countries, and these are the countries you can see here on the screen. The project is well on the way with good participation of the various 12 countries. Now, what is being done? Quite much actually. It is provided technical guidance for national policy development, because it is very important that in order to implement and take action on this issue, that you have technical guidance for national policy development, and also recommendations on best practices on the various sources of spreading of invasive species due to biofouling. and there we have then various training packages. Also, we have involvement by industry, and in connection to this project, we have a global industry alliance, which is then actively participating and is making it possible also for developing countries to understand how action can be taken alongside and in cooperation with the global industry alliance in the project. And there are various types of companies in this alliance. It's also companies which can undertake cleaning of biofouling. If you visit the website of the Global Fouling project, which I would strongly recommend you to do, you will actually find all relevant information. You will find the information on various regulations. There are no IMO regulations, only IMO recommendations, but there are actually national regulations in various parts of the world. Some few countries have national regulations in place. And then there is information of invasive species. It's invitations for webinars and reports of webinars. And it's various information in relation to research material, which is then to the benefit of all IMO member states and also all stakeholders. Clearly, the issue of awareness raising is important. In order to take action of invasive species, we need to take all parts of society to be actively involved, and therefore we need to have awareness raising of such an important problem. Now, before I conclude, I will just highlight that there is to take action on biofouling has only winners. Why can I say that? Well, we will safeguard marine biodiversity through minimizing introduction of aquatic alien species. And as also by that, we will also, in addition to safeguard the marine ecology, also safeguard the marine economy. Many countries are dependent on the marine economy by fishing and other sustainable use of marine resources, and then you need to have an ecosystem in balance. Also, clean ships hull will cut emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, and in addition to that, air pollution will be reduced as a result of less consumed fuel. And consuming less fuel will also save cost in the shipping industry and increase energy efficiency. And I know that there will be reports on how much GHG emissions proper biofouling management will actually save. It's quite important. We should also note that services to shipping in order to have proper biofouling management and clean hulls will also provide jobs to service providers. And a small item at the end, the collected biofouling material can even be used as fuel in biofuel production. So to take action on this issue has only winners. And that is my final message, and thank you again to be able to address the Korean Maritime Week, and I look forward to take part in the discussion on this issue.